Hello, YouTube. I hope you're having a wonderful week. Today, I didn't really do anything. I worked from home. I made a really good lunch. I had scrambled eggs with lunch meat, two scrambled eggs, lunch meat, and some shredded cheese. And then I put that on a piece of toast. It was really good. I love that lunch because it keeps me full for hours and hours, which is not usually I'm hungry in like 5 seconds, especially since going to see the personal trainer twice a week. I feel like I'm extremely hungry all the time. I see I have a few friends here already, which is awesome. Gary, this should be good for sure. I feel like some of my Canadian friends probably know who Romana is already, but this will be really fun for us to learn about her together. So I'm really excited for this. Hey, Mr. Ranger Lab, and hey, Neil. Yay. So we're going to watch a video, look at some sites of a woman named Romana de Dulo, who proclaims herself to be the Queen of Canada. Now, I am not supporting her views. I do not agree with anything that she's saying. We'll see that it's extremely harmful rhetoric that started with COVID-19 pushback against the restrictions and the mask mandates. So, YouTube, I am not supporting this ideology. I'm raising awareness and speaking out against it in the best way that I can. And she claims to be the Queen of Canada, the Kingdom of Canada. She claims that she's able to give royal decrees, some of which are extremely violent in nature. In the video we're going to watch, there's going to be trigger warning, I guess, a threat against someone's life that she makes. So if you don't want to see that, then you can skip like the first 10 minutes of this video, but she is an extremely controversial figure in Canadian politics, Canadian life, I guess. I feel like most people know a little bit about Romana Didulo, and yeah, we're going to learn some new things together, and I think it'll be a really interesting video. Hey, Lori, this is a CTV segment, official W5. I'll put the link in the chat if you want to go watch the entire thing. We're going to watch a little bit here and there, but not the entire thing because that would take us way too long. And I have some notes with some timestamps of the worst parts of the video that we're going to look at. So I'm excited. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I have an inkling that I've heard of her, Mr. Ranger Lab says. Not surprised. Okay, I'm ready. And we're not going to just watch the whole way through. We're going to watch only a little bit, and we're going to jump around a bit.
In Saskatchewan, you can almost always see what's coming. Here, in the province's southwest, there are acres upon acres of flat farmers' fields. 20 kilometers east of the Alberta border, the farmland gives way to a small town, Richmond, Saskatchewan. Once a bustling hub for agriculture, oil, and gas, Richmond is now mostly inhabited by retirees and young families looking for an affordable place to live. With only 120 residents, it's generally a pretty quiet place. But in the fall of 2023, all of that changed.
So in the fall of 2023 is when Romana and her inner circle came into town because a resident of Richmond, Saskatchewan, owns an abandoned school, and he told her group that they're able to take up residence in the school, and this person is actually a higher ranking person within Romana's, I don't know what you would call it, group, and they refer to him as Your Excellency, which is super interesting. But there is 120 people in the town of Richmond, Saskatchewan. They started off in, I can never remember the name, Kamsack, Saskatchewan, but they were run out. They were chased out by the residents within one day. As of 7 days ago, The Queen of Canada's inner circle are still in Richmond in the school in a town of 120 people that used to be everyone was friends. They would keep their doors unlocked. Everyone was safe. Kids would just run around and play because it was such a small community. But since then, as we're going to talk about, the environment within Richmond has unfortunately changed for the worse and the worst, and they're still struggling against Queen of Canada's presence. Yeah, all hail Queen Romana. Oh. Hello, Tori. This is an interesting one. I I think this is a cult, the Queen of Canada cult, but it'll be super interesting, and I'm glad you're here for this. Yes, agree. Yes, I think it is. And a cult expert that I think in the parts we watch, she says that she also thinks it's a cult. Yes. Especially not even if you are in a big city, that's one thing, because chances are you're not going to come across them, but you're in such a small community. Can you imagine such a tiny community? And then people just take over. And we're going to go into more detail about what that means. Hello, Karine. Nice to meet you. We just started. I hope you enjoy the live, and I'm so happy you're here.
Those blaring horns.
Yeah, so those are the people of Richmond who are trying to get Romana and her group out of their town.
To protest the unexpected arrival of this woman, Romana Didolo. She calls herself the Queen of Canada, a woman who has crisscrossed the country to share her strange and violent messages that promote the murder of police, politicians, and ordinary people. She does this by issuing her official orders.
The royal decrees that I have issued, basically removing all of the shackles put by the corporation government. I have also said that there is no more politics and no more politicians.
She tells Canadians not to pay their debts.
Queen Romana's in power and we're not paying any more bills. Utilities are free.
She also pushes.
So we're not paying any more bills. Utilities are free. In this video, we're not going to touch on it, but people take her royal decrees as gospel. They stop paying their property tax, their water bills, their car bills, and people have been removed from their homes. They're living in their cars. They're on the streets because they take what Romana Didulo says as the truth. And there is, as is the case in cults, most 99% of the time there is no critical thinking because she rose to fame, infamy, I guess, during the COVID-19 pandemic when people were scared, looking for direction, and looking for someone who really understands them, who they feel understands them, where they can feel some kind of human connection, I think. And people who are more vulnerable, people who maybe are more, what's the word? Gullible, where they might just take what they hear at face value and just take it as truth. Sorry, there's a bunch of sirens. Can you guys hear that? Yes, Queen of Sovereign Citizens for sure. Americans seem to know more of her. QAnon adherents think that the Canadian trucker convoy was righteous. Yes, yeah, we're going to get to that for sure. I'm trying to pause it more often just so I don't want CTV to block the video, so I'm trying to pause it a lot. Yes, it's a cult times sovereign citizen for sure. Oh, can you guys hear the huskies? Okay, whatever.
Conspiracy theories. A favorite? About the danger of the COVID vaccine. Here's how she would punish healthcare workers who vaccinated.
So this part is the disturbing part where she gives a death threat. So if you don't want to hear death threats, mute it for a bit, for like 25 seconds, and then we'll be past that.
Children.
For each child that you have harmed, you will receive not one, but 2 bullets on your forehead. Think very, very carefully before you touch that needle.
And it's so easy to say that someone making threats like that, she's not actually going to act on it. She's not actually dangerous. But there is an instance later in this video that a bunch of people in her group go to Peterborough, Ontario, and try to perform citizens arrests on police officers in Peterborough for apparent crimes against humanity, for enforcing COVID-19 restrictions and guidelines such as social distancing and masking. And it turned out very, very violent, and they felt like they had the right to arrest police officers because she told them to. So it's easy to say that this is such a baseless threat, but it's still a threat against the lives of people who give vaccines to children. And throughout my research, I did see that I think it might have been CAMSAC. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you know this, I just have it in my memory that at the hospital, they actually had to place security at the door because they thought that she would they thought she would actually follow through on that threat, and the health workers actually felt like they were in danger. I don't understand the legality of this, where we see someone on a video threatening the lives of a certain group of people. I feel like that is enough to at least look into her more intensely, to question the validity of these threats, and to maybe pursue legal action. I don't understand how this kind of thing is just ignored, and it's like, oh, whatever, it's not real. But the Peterborough instance shows that she has the capabilities to encourage people to be extremely violent. I've lived in Canada my whole life and never heard of her. This is wild. It is wild, Corrine. It is.
Before Richmond, Didelot and her followers landed in Kamsack, Saskatchewan. Residents there made it clear they weren't wanted.
Oh, wherever you came from, get out of here!
The group did not last a day. That's when a Richmond resident invited them to stay at an abandoned school.
They saw a vehicle coming down this road here. And what the heck is that?
Roland Davis has been living in Richmond for 15 years. Her home sits directly opposite that school where the group is set up. You could say she's had a front row seat to all the comings and goings.
I saw 2 RVs, and then there was...
So this part is she's going to talk about how she saw everybody drive up. She's going to talk about how people are taking videos of her. She's out working in her lawn, and they are recording her and taking pictures. And that's just one aspect of how the people of Richmond are impacted by Romana's presence. I always want to call her Romana.
Posts, right?
So just who is Romana Didelot? She says she immigrated from the Philippines, where her parents died when she was young. Didelot moved to British Columbia at the age of 15. From the early 2000s, she ran or worked in several businesses, but truly emerged as a public persona during the pandemic. In 2020, she unofficially started a new political party.
I'm the founder and the leader of Canada First. It's time for us to clean up the swamp in Ottawa.
Draining the swamp in Ottawa, Canada First Party. I feel like during the pandemic, there were a lot of alternative political movements that came up in Canada that were just mad at Trudeau for imposing restrictions on the country that saved people's lives, that kept kids healthy. And I understand that it is a nuanced discussion and that people lost their livelihoods, people lost their homes, and everyone was impacted by COVID-19 lockdowns in a different way, but it saved countless people's lives. My point is, political parties, political groups rose up with the very purpose of just criticizing the government in Canada with a very little backing as to what they would actually do to improve the political landscape, other than simply getting rid of all COVID-19 mandates or restrictions. Nothing about how are we going to help, how are we going to provide more affordable housing? How are we going to improve healthcare? What about education? No, it's simply get rid of COVID-19 mandates.
Within months, she went from party leader to calling herself head of state and commander-in-chief of the Republic of Canada. And it was here in Ottawa in the winter of 2022 where Didelot made her first high-profile appearances, a coming out party, as it were, at the Freedom Trucker Convoy.
If anyone's from Ottawa, I'd love to hear your experiences during that time when thousands and thousands of truckers drove across the country to honk their horns and wreak havoc on people's lives in Ottawa. Truly, thousands and thousands of people took over downtown and made it so people could not move around, could not go about their daily life to protest against COVID-19 restrictions, which at that time, what were the COVID-19 restrictions they were protesting? I know that's not the point of this. Maybe masks and vaccines, because at that time there weren't lockdowns. There was nothing really significant being imposed by the government. So I don't even remember what they were protesting. I'm close to Ottawa. You will see F Trudeau stickers on some vehicles in my town. Yeah. And that's pretty common in most places. But then you ask them why. Why don't you like Trudeau? I feel like majority of the time they won't have an answer.
Hello, everyone. I am Queen Romana of Canada. I am backed by the Armed Forces of the United States.
Bullshit. You're not backed by the Armed Forces of the United States. I'm not sure where that claim comes from. I feel like leaders of high control groups, they can just say things and people will take it at face value and assume it's the truth because this person that they put on a pedestal that is seen as like a celebrity or has as a godlike figure, they can say whatever they want and no one will question them. My spouse works across the street from Parliament and got sent home from work. Luckily was able to do much of his work from home. Many friends who live downtown had trouble sleeping because of constant noise and fear of walking in their neighborhoods. Exactly.
There are no more elections, no more politicians, no more politics in the Kingdom of Canada.
She even went so far as to burn the Canadian flag.
Let's not burn the Canadian flag. Let's not do it. Let's not do that. That is like, when I was prepping for this and I made a list of timestamps while I was working today, and this part really, really bothered me.
Bye-bye, Canada! Bye-bye, Corporation Canada!
After the Freedom Convoy, she set off with her followers in some RVs heading east. Meeting followers.
And then she just drives around. She fucking says she blessed the Atlantic Ocean because apparently Queen Romana can just bless fucking oceans now. She has people who travel around with her, a group of her inner circle that live in the RV. They go from place to place and they just follow her around. They live with her. They all dress the same way. They all talk the same way. Yeah, why not move to like Texas, right? Exactly.
Followers in Montreal.
Thank you.
Quebec City, signing flags and kissing.
Go.
Christina Sarteski is a professor of criminology and social work who studies extremist groups at Chatham University in Pittsburgh. She's been monitoring Romana Didelot for 2 years.
I think she was speaking about her hatred of vaccines and mandates at a time when there was a subgroup of other people who also felt the same way, who really did not like the government telling them what to do.
And the part that's so funny about that is the government tells us what to do every single day. Every single day. Hey, you want to go to a hospital? You need to show your healthcare card. Hey, you want to get on a plane? You need to show your passport. Maybe it's not all the federal government telling us to do those things, but the government tells us things to do every single day. Every level of government, everything we do, driving on the right side of the road, that is the municipal government or whatever government telling us to do that. I also highly doubt it, Neil. Yeah. Yes. It was outrageous. Outrageous.
Her anti-vax, anti-mask views pushed her following to 80,000 during the pandemic. People open to accepting all kinds of bizarre claims.
Canada was sold to China by the conservatives and the liberals
Where's your proof? I would like proof, please.
and all the parties with the blessing of the fake queen.
Romana is also the fake, a fake queen. Not also, Romana is the fake queen. You can't just say that the queen is fake. You can't just say that the government does no longer exist and then have it be true. Right? Weren't there a few convoys around the same time? I have a memory of across Canada there was like convoys in solidarity with the Freedom Truck or whatever bullshit in Ottawa. And I'm sure there were probably some in the United States too. Okay.
Is it true that John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive?
Yes, I can tell you, but then I'll have to kill you. Any more burning questions?
Sometimes those claims veer from bizarre to outlandish.
When there are ships, when there's ships.
She claims to be from a planet called. Okay, where's the planet she claims to be from? It starts with an A. I don't remember. We'll probably read about it later. She claims to be an alien. She's an alien, apparently.
Are in or up there. They change the weather.
She has talked about being from the planet Arcturus.
The Arcturians are the most advanced, yes. Like the Yoda.
So there's an alien.
The Arcturians are advanced like the Yoda, apparently. And yes, she's such a manipulative person. She saw the distress of COVID and decided to dupe the ignorant people who were scared, people who were looking for direction, maybe people who, as I said, are a bit more gullible. Someone in the video at some point says that people were stupid enough to fall for it. I don't think people are stupid to fall for something like this. I think people are vulnerable, and I think Romana and other leaders of high pressure groups see that vulnerability and prey on it for their own profit. So if anyone here has been fallen victim to a group like this, it's not your fault. It's the fault of the leader preying on your vulnerabilities. Yep, there's a trucker convoy in DC. So we get the main gist. We're going to go to all of my timestamps now. Do you see this fucking whatever this is? Subtitles. Okay, anyway.
I said you can blow up all of the legislature buildings in Canada.
You can blow up all the legislature buildings in Canada. Someone who has influence over a group of vulnerable people cannot say things like that and then be surprised when people act in a violent manner. You can't just say, yeah, we can blow up all the buildings. So now you're claiming that you could potentially go around and blow up political buildings in the country. Like, that is horrifying. So 1205. This is in the town of Richmond when people came from all over to hear Romana speak. And this is a live stream of her talk to her YouTube channel. Yeah. 1205 to 1250. Yes.
The ceremony for We the People begins. Live stream to Didalo's online followers.
There's relentless PSYOPs operations to discredit Queen Romana and the team's work.
There's top secret covert operations threatening her and her work and her vision for the country, apparently. It should be illegal. Like, we're going to blow up the the legislator buildings. We are going to murder people providing vaccines to children. And then the violence in Peterborough, Ontario. You guys should Google Google News it and see what I mean, where people just like stormed the police station in Peterborough to arrest all these police officers. What she says has strength or has meaning to these people, and you can't just say anything when so many people are looking up to you.
About 50 people, including children, fill the gym. And altogether, they declare an oath of sovereignty to their queen.
Hereby declare my oath of sovereignty.
Why do we what an oath of sovereignty to some random lady who claims to be royalty, who claims to have control over the country when she really does not? Like why are we even declaring an oath of sovereignty to a random person? I know why though, because she is the leader of a high control group / cult, and people will do what she says.
After the event, Romana greets the group and hands them loyalty money, a made-up currency for her followers.
Well, look at what loyalty money is. It's a made up bullshit currency. So she's giving people fake ass currencies for their support. And to them, it probably means the world. Wow, a man is hugging me, and I get the loyalty bucks. But the loyalty bucks don't mean anything in real life. They don't. I agree. It is maddening.
This woman, who we'll call Mary,
Okay. 15. Where's 15?
No one should be paying.
If people didn't actually have to pay their bills, wouldn't everybody know this?
By the way, we don't have any more income tax. Yes, I removed the income tax.
Professor Christine Sarteski says Didelo's decrees are causing real harm.
I have watched people post videos of themselves getting taken out by the bailiff because they have lost their homes. I've seen court records where people are in foreclosure because they believed in her ideas and really believed that they didn't have to pay their taxes, their mortgage, and then they're literally on the streets or they're living in their cars.
My parents
And how freaking sad is that? Where you are following the person you think has your best interest at heart. You believe them for whatever reason that you don't have to pay your mortgage, and then you lose your home. That could have a real horrifying impact on people, make them homeless, ruin their retirement, ruin their lives. I see these folks as akin to the worst of MAGA. I don't see them vulnerable, texting to destroy the system from their $1,000 iPhones and their 90K pickup trucks and 1 million suburban estates. I think maybe they were vulnerable when they were brought into the group, I think. But yeah, we can disagree on that for sure. I think Anastasia said it earlier that everyone was really scared during COVID, and it's not surprising that Romana rose to prominence during that time when people were scared and needing direction and hope, and she rose up as that figure. Right? Loyalty money, that's how you pay for food and gas and shelter. But we don't have to pay bills because under Queen Romana, water's free, electricity is free, our housing is free. So maybe we don't need real money because everything is free. They'll get the fake money and we'll wonder why they seem to have trouble getting food. Exactly. Okay.
retirement is ruined. Like my mother will probably have to sell her home and go back to work.
No more big pharma.
This part is absolutely maddening. For the next minute, I'm going to let it play and then we'll talk about it.
Didelo is also promising this.
So we are replacing that with our med beds. Our med beds are actually now under control of our military.
Med beds are made-up healing technology that she claims can cure cancer and even regrow limbs. And watch how her outrageous promises affect her followers.
Now, me and my brother was born with CE and cerebral palsy. Will the med beds help cure that?
Yes,
Okay.
it will realign whatever it is that's missing. If you were missing a particular,
Yeah.
then it will create one as a human being. They will use that signature as a human being and then perfectly create you as an individual.
Oh man, I can't wait to get in that. I'll be running the streets. I won't be walking the streets.
So not only are we not paying our bills, we are getting evicted from our homes because we believe that everything is free. There are now these med beds where we don't need our cancer treatment, right? We think that our brother and I, who both have cerebral palsy, are going to be cured from this make-believe fake medical device, I guess, and she never actually explains what a med bed is. And people are going to hear that and think it's true and not seek medical attention when they really need it.
Mary's dad has a traumatic brain injury. He has now stopped seeing doctors.
So someone's father who's in the group has a traumatic brain injury, and because of this claim that the med beds will magically fix all of his issues, he's no longer seeing a doctor because of that. So this will have real life implications. People could get sicker and sicker. People could become homeless. People become isolated from their families and their friends because they're following her around everywhere and giving her all their money. We saw somewhere that, what's her name? Kim Churchill, who joined the group and then left shortly after, gave Romana $3,000 to support the development of winter accommodations for her inner circle. And then she found out that Romana pocketed the $3,000, would not give it back to Kim, and then Kim eventually realized that it was in a toxic, abusive environment that they were in. She had said that Romana was emotionally and mentally abusive to her closest followers. And then she left the group very early on, thankfully. But she's withholding donations that people give to her for a specific cause, treating them poorly, giving them fake medical advice that could have deadly results, and giving them advice that makes them homeless. And I understand that people need to have personal responsibility and think things through critically, but we know not everybody does. Not everyone does, especially those who are, I think, those who are more vulnerable, maybe more gullible, and see her as an all-knowing figure. Okay. 1830. 1830. Okay. I think half are vulnerable and half are opportunists. Exactly. I agree. It's very sad. There are many levels to the grift. You don't want to miss any of the suckers. So this is the mayor of Richmond, Saskatchewan, who received death threats. So I'm going to tell you about these death threats. They are cease and desist orders that claim residents will face public executions, leading to the devastation of their families, their children, and their grandchildren. People who received these in the town of Richmond, the mayor, a school teacher, an office administrator, and an elderly woman. And I think they claimed about 25 people in the town of 120 people received death threats through the mail. But when the W5 City TV reporters brought it up to the police, they had said that there was no way to connect the mailed death threats to Romana's group, to Romana herself. And they had to make sure that they knew exactly where the threats were coming from. And that's why there wasn't any immediate action being taken, because they didn't know where it was coming from. But then City TV was able to actually very easily track down the origins of one of the threats against people's lives, and it came directly from someone within the group. So I just wonder why it's so hard to prove where a letter came from, right? So we're going to go into this.
And the unknown is terrifying, actually.
Terrifying because of things like this. Letters emailed to Mayor Miller and other Richmond.
We, the people of the Kingdom of Canada in the province of Saskatchewan and the town of Richmond, are increasingly aware of the corruption and deceitful political ideologies within the leadership and field of Richmond's Town Council, the RCMP, the EBS, the fire department, and quite often the heartless, unfair, and oftentimes illegal and immoral activities enforced upon and in front of the WTP and our families. We the people, in front of we the people and our families. Therefore, we the people of the Kingdom of Canada present to you this cease and desist order effective September 29th, 2023, to immediately adapt to the natural law teachings, principles, and trainings to abide to your various departments' code of conduct, recognizing that you are employed by WTP and for WTP's families and friends' safety, security, well-being, and prosperity. Okay.
Officials threatening their publicly broadcast executions and devastation upon children, grandchildren, and families.
Like, I would be dumb not to say that it doesn't affect myself and my wife. Like, we keep the drapes closed now and our doors are always locked, double checked. And like, I don't want to die sort of thing. It sounds funny what I'm saying now, whatever, but I would take one for the team if they came and broke the law. I'd be the first one to protect our town, whatever.
Because then that would get rid of that.
They would go to jail and her reign would be done. Yes, that's
pretty extreme.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Have you had any encounters with the group?
No, they won't talk to me. They just sit and videotape, and Romana won't talk to me at all. She says she's the leader or the queen, and she sits behind a closed door and doesn't talk to another leader or another mayor or a council. I think that's chicken.
So people getting death threats, cease and desist letters, claiming that they're going to have be publicly executed for speaking out, for not supporting We the People WTP. And as I said, this went from being, I just put the link in again if you want to watch the whole thing. This went from being a quiet little town of 120 people, everyone left their doors unlocked, to people getting death threats, people being videotaped on their lawns. The sense of safety and security is no longer there. As of 7 days ago, she is still in Richmond, Saskatchewan, and it's just sad that there's so many layers to this. There's the people in Richmond whose safety is being encroached upon, their way of life is literally being threatened. Their life is being threatened, not even just their way of life. And then the people who are believing her violent royal decrees, acting upon them, putting themselves in danger. People who are believing her horrifying medical misinformation and potentially getting sick over it. People who are being evicted from their homes because they believe her when she says that we don't have to pay our bills because under the Kingdom of Canada, it's all free. Okay, that's all I wanted to watch there. Okay. This is The Walrus. I think it's a non-profit magazine. I wanted to only do news articles that are like more official, but I really wanted to talk about her royal decrees in more detail. I feel like I'm taking a while to get through this, so we might not even get through all of my screens today, but that's totally fine. Okay. Okay, let me have a drink and then we'll look at this part. By the spring of 2021, Didulo's Telegram following had grown to 20,000 people, an audience for her speeches, announcements, and made-up decrees, including that Canada was pulling out of the United Nations and the World Health Organization terminating all foreign aid. Didulo warned her followers against getting the COVID-19 vaccine, falsely claiming it was a tool of genocide, and began threatening healthcare workers and people enforcing pandemic restrictions. Sorry, my nose is running. In vaccine distribution, saying they were committing crimes against humanity. Didulo flooded her Telegram with news articles critical of pandemic restrictions and denounced Canadian politicians as criminals and traitors. Through that summer, she threw her support behind so-called freedom rallies, and then she had her med beds, non-existing technology that Didulo and others claimed could cure medical ailments. And here, shoot to kill anyone who tries to inject children with coronavirus 19 vaccine / bioweapons. Okay. These threats had caught the attention of the RCMP, leading officials to detain her in November under BC's Mental Health Act. RCMP did not confirm details of her arrest to media at that time, and no charges were laid, but Didulo posted a video after her release recounting how she was questioned by doctors and was deemed not certifiable. The moment solidified her base when she declared that all debts in Canada, including credit card debt, student loans, and mortgages, would be forgiven. Some of her we already read this. Sorry, I don't know why I'm reading this. Maybe I planned to read this before I decided to watch more of the video because I feel like we already covered this. Sorry, people lost their homes and were penalized for not paying taxes. Instead, many gave her their financial backing. Buoyed by the adoration online in early 2022, Didulo hit the road on a royal tour of sorts across Canada. I'm wondering how many people were harmed by her or her followers because of what she preaches, and to what end. She's either evil or has severe mental health issues, or maybe both for sure. I feel like it's probably both because she claims to be an alien, which is really weird. Obviously, that's weird. Yeah, and she went to the Freedom Convoy. She said she was backed by the armed forces, which we already know. She stated that martial law would be in effect until she said otherwise. She also booked hotel rooms for Putin and then Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson, either because she believed those persons would be arriving to meet with Didulo, or more plausibly, to project the appearance of importance. They drifted around the country. They pulled up to Kamsack. Okay, so I did not need to read that. I'm sorry. So I think this is one of her official websites. I'm not totally positive because there appears to be two. But this is the Kingdom of Queen Romana Didulo.org. And the logo: humanity, peace, prosperity, God, creator, light, love. That's nice. Welcome to the digital realm of the Kingdom of Canada, where tradition meets innovation and the spirit of unity is led by the esteemed monarch, Queen Romana Didulo. Nestled within the vast landscapes and diverse cultures, our kingdom stands as a beacon of prosperity and harmony. Queen Romana Didulo, with her unwavering commitment to the well-being of her subjects, guides the Kingdom of Canada towards a future defined by inclusivity, progress, and regal grace. Her reign is characterized by a deep appreciation. Okay, explore the pages of our digital kingdom to discover the cultural tapestry that weaves together the stories of our people. No thanks. I think, are we at the homepage? Yes, we are. Okay, this is the loyalty money that she had discussed earlier. I'm looking to see if you guys can see it well. Okay. These were Queen Romana's loyalty thingy. 100,000. I'm not quite sure what the 100,000 actually is. Backed by gold and silver, apparently. Backed by we the people. Dear loyal I am. Yeah, such great supporters. It's most likely bullshit, but why are we bragging? Why are we pretending that Vladimir Putin and Tucker Carlson are supporting us? That seems weird. Due to the recent release of trillion, is that 1.5 trillion? Because 9 would be billion. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? 1.5 trillion fantasy dollars into the economy. Her Royal Highness Majesty Queen Romana Didulo is pleased to offer these pre-signed loyalty thingies in the denomination of 100,000 thingies. Feel free to download the files in either PNG or TIF format. Links below, and either print them yourself. We recommend bright white cardstock, or take them to your local professional printer. And so it is. Queen Romana. A 100% BS. Exactly. And then $500,000 or 50,000 thingies. Is this 1 million thingies? Yeah, this is 1 million thingies. Wow. Wow, thingies. This will help me buy food. Thingy, Monopoly money, exactly. I don't even know what to say. All right, drink. A duke in the Kingdom of Canada is the highest ranking and most expensive title in all 5 peerages. What's it? Whatever. A duke thus outranks all other holders of titles of nobility, marquess, earl, viscount, and baron. There are 13 dukedoms in the Kingdom of Canada, and each can be purchased either yearly, for life, or as a hereditary title that can be passed to approved family members. Once purchased, you are entitled to join the Kingdom of Canada House of Lords channel on Telegram and advise Queen Romana de Dulo on domestic and foreign policy for the Kingdom of Canada. You are also permitted to style yourself Duke or Duchess in all interactions with we the people. So people that you see are her like inner circle. They most likely paid to be a duke. To be a duke. Imagine working at a print shop and someone comes in asking to print money, right? Yeah, our money's nice. I hate American money so much because I feel like I have a lot of money when I hold it in my hand, but then I just have 10 $1 bills. Okay. So in British Columbia, you can buy a dukedom for $4,000. I don't really understand the heredity thing. Her hereditary thing. Alberta, it's the same. Saskatchewan, it's the same. And then in Ontario, apparently the dukedom is a bit more expensive, that it goes up to 7,000. Quebec, 7 for lifetime. And then it's 4,000 lifetime for the rest. I want to be the Duke of Juke. We probably can't purchase our ranks with loyalty money. I feel like it's probably would need to be real money. You want to be Empress of Toronto? Let's see how much Empress costs. Oh, is there not an Empress? I thought there was an Empress. Maybe I'm getting confused. Marquise. Let's see how much a Marquise or Marchiones. So this one's cheaper. Lifetime is $2,000. And an Earl / Countess, $250 and then $1,000. We could assume that the people who pay for to be, what's the highest rank? The Duke? People pay to be a Duke or a Duchess. Like, they're the ones who are in her inner circle, who are helping guide her on foreign policy. And then Baron. Barons are not entitled to join the Kingdom of Canada House of Lords, nor do they have right to advise HRM Highness Queen Romana on matters of state. So do the Marquis, can they? So it looks like Marquis, Dukes can advise her. Earls can advise her on matters of state. Viscounts. So all the ranks except Baron can advise Romana on matters of state. Matters of state. Well, the part I don't understand is the price, because if we're just passing it on to our children, why do we need to pay to pass it on to our children? I feel like that's a little weird. Right? I want to be Baroness, not picky of what. How about Yukon? Yeah, Baroness is the bad rank. Okay, and then is there anything else I wanted to look at? The royal decrees. Here's some examples of her royal decrees. Okay. The hereditary route would be the way to go if it could be passed along for decades, millennia even. Oh, isn't that great? In the Kingdom of Canada, royal decree to the attention of the Kingdom of Canada's armed forces and the police forces. I am Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Didulo, Commander-in-Chief, President, National Indigenous Chief, and Queen of the Kingdom of Canada, hereby issue this decree effective immediately, dated today, November 18th, 2023, as follows. I'm going to take myself off camera. My nose is bothering me. Immediate discontinuation of all existing uniforms of the Kingdom of Canada's armed forces, of the Kingdom of Canada's police forces, immediate merging of the Kingdom of Canada's police forces into a single force to be called the Royal Kingdom of Canada Mounted Didulo Police, immediate adoption and issuance of new uniforms of the design shown below for all members of the Kingdom of Canada's armed forces. Excuse me, I'm going to mute for a sec. Yes, I unmuted. Immediate adoption and issuance of the design shown for the Canada Mounted Didulo Police. The armed forces are no longer permitted to wear the defunct corporate uniforms of the defunct Corporation of Canada. The Royal Kingdom of Canada Mounted Didulo Police are okay. That's a direct order from your Commander-in-Chief and Queen. Anyone caught wearing the defunct corporation uniforms of the defunct Corporation of Canada will be tried for crimes against humanity. This order is effective immediately. And so it is. And then there's some frogs. Peace, love, prosperity, and love. Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Didulo. And then apparently here are the uniforms of the police, the Didulo police forces. Okay, weird ass purple hats. That's nice. Okay, that's all. I don't even know what to say to that. So we are claiming that we have our own police force, our own military. I wonder how far it goes, right? Like, she does have ministers. She does have specific ministers. And I assume maybe do these ministers pay to be ministers in her government? But she says there's no more government. There's no more politicians, right? So it wouldn't be a government. Here's another website I found of her. And it's pretty much the same thing. I want to see Kingdom of Canada's ministers. A new Kingdom of Canada minister will be featured each week, along with updates on exciting changes taking place in the Kingdom of Canada and around the world. Coming soon, you'll be able to directly contact the Kingdom of Canada's ministers. And then His Excellency Tennyson Park, Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. Let's see what this is.
Kingdom of Canada and around the world, and to we, the people of the Kingdom of Canada. Welcome to our VIPs. You are the children of our future. Thank you for being here. And to our ancestors who have made it possible for us to be here today in this new era in Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Didulo timeline. Thank you in the Kingdom of Canada. And to our honored and
in the Romana Didulo timeline, and we're all her children. I'm going to skip forward because I want to hear their actual political talk. We're all her children? That seems sketchy too. And the VIP. So are these the people who pay to become a duke? Pay the $4,000 or $7,000 for a lifelong membership? right? I wonder, how does one become a minister in the Kingdom of Canada?
Of the Kingdom of Canada. 4, all Canadian nationals are authorized to fish for personal and family consumption and to make a living income all year round. 0 fishing permits required.
Then people are going to go out and think they don't need a fucking fishing permit, and then they're going to get in trouble. You need a fishing permit, and there are limitations to how much you can fish, so you don't just take all the fucking fish out of the ocean. I've heard of this person. Oh, I'll be watching the rest of this then, the replay. Oh, good. And it's nice to see you, Danny. Thank you for joining. I'm surprised I haven't seen interaction between them and police officers on YouTube. I'm going to see if they have a page on Reddit. You should Google or YouTube the Peterborough Police citizen arrest, but it is kind of violent. So Google that with caution for sure.
5, implement Oceans and Fisheries Kingdom of Canada laws and policies under natural law. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
And thank you for your oath, and thank you for your to-do list. And we all know that with great responsibility comes along with great responsibility to we the people to carry out our to-do list. And we are here to do that.
Yes.
Thank you for yours.
Thank you.
We're here to carry out our to-do list, and we're here to do that. So, see, they in the video we watched at the beginning, they have Romana especially has an inflated sense of importance that what they're doing will change the nature of the country, will change our entire lives, and you can tell that these women think that they are part of a new movement of transforming Canada, right? Oh, bye, Karine. It was lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us. And I maybe I'm going to do some more research, like more in-depth research on this to see how the Kingdom of Canada is structured, because I have a lot of questions, right? I want to know how Tennyson Park became the Minister of Oceans and Fisheries. I want to know about the other ministers, how you become a minister, what their role actually is. Can they actually work independently of Romana, or do they have to do just whatever she says? I have a lot of questions. So I wonder if there's research about the actual structure of it, the political structure. This is the most un-Canadian thing ever. We're going to skip ahead and watch a few more minutes, and then we'll be done.
All year round. Large, yes, and large commercial fishing companies' boats are permitted to fish from June 30 to October 31 each year. This gives we the people, the I ams of the Kingdom of Canada, the opportunities to have as much food as they need for their personal consumption, and create a small business, a small or large scale business with these guidelines.
And that's great, but what happens if they think they can do unlimited fishing, and then they wonder why they get arrested, wonder why they get charged, right? Because I'm sure you can get charged for breaking the fishing guidelines, or at least get in trouble with the law, because you need a fishing license. You need a fishing license. This doesn't make any sense. I'm going to look it up. Can you get charged in Canada for fishing without a license? Remember, if you do not possess a valid Canadian fishing license, you may face fines or other penalties from conservation officers. So is Her Excellency Tennyson Park going to pay our fines? So we're not going to get charged necessarily, but we could get fined. Is she going to pay our fines when we get in trouble for fishing without a fucking license? Probably not. Are there any other videos of less boring ones? Kingdom of Canada's ministers. The Kingdom of Canada's ministers. Romana Didulo. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is her official page or not. Queen Romana appointed as the mediator, whatever that means. Whatever that means. These are from 2 years ago. I want to see, maybe this can be an idea for another time. I want to see more videos of her ministers. That's just. So maybe this is her main page. So yeah, we can look more into that on another time. So that's all I have for today. I feel like we covered a good amount because I didn't even get to everything, but that's totally fine. We learned that Romana rose to prominence during the COVID-19 pandemic with her conspiracy theories around mask mandates, vaccine requirements, COVID-19 restrictions. She has brought people to violence in Peterborough, Ontario, where they tried to perform a citizen's arrest against police officers for apparent crimes against humanity. Her royal decrees are potentially extremely dangerous, telling people that they don't need to pay their bills, and then people get evicted from their homes, living in their cars because of things that Romana's told them. The most harmful part of her rhetoric, of her ideology, is the fake made-up med beds technology, where apparently you can cure cancer, you can cure cerebral palsy, and you do not need to go to the doctor for a traumatic brain injury. I feel like my chin is too close to the bottom, so I'm trying to have good posture. So we covered a lot. We also learned that she called for executions of people who provide vaccines for COVID-19 vaccines for children. She took over a small Saskatchewan town of only 120 people and has written death threats to various people throughout the town, including the fucking mayor. And apparently, according to my research, the RCMP was not able to do anything. How long ago was this video? 3 months ago. So the main video we watched was 3 months ago. They weren't able to do anything because they could not truly prove that Romana Didulo, her group, sent those death threats to the citizens of Richmond. So this was a very exciting topic for me. It took me a while to prep and to actually think things through, but I'm glad we covered the really high level description of who Romana is. We looked a little bit into like the Kingdom of Canada structure and the different ranks within it and potential other video topics, trying to look at more the political structure of the Kingdom of Canada and the powers that the made up so-called ministers actually have to implement things within the Kingdom of Canada that they want to implement, and whether or not Romana just tells them what to do. Okay, that was cool. Oh, thank you, Anastasia. I'm glad you liked the topic. I thought it was really fun. Thank you so much for joining me and for sticking around this entire time. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a really great evening. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.